When you look at your business week honestly, how much of it is the work that only you can do? And how much of it just keeps on finding its way back to you? Not because it has to, but that's just the way that it's always been run. You know, those decisions that can be made by somebody else, the calls that you're still taking, and the problems that don't move until you move them. Because there's a difference between leading in your business and leading with it. And understanding that difference is often the moment everything can start to shift. I'm going to share a personal story of mine when I was growing Specsavers brand in the Netherlands. Now, everything was great. My team were amazing, more than capable. The numbers were great. And, it really was performing. The purpose was incredibly clear, but something wasn't right. From the outside, everything looked strong, but from the inside, every decision was still coming back to me. Every escalation, every sign-off, every problem that needed resolving. I was still sort of stepping in, still holding, still fixing. And my instinct, like many founders that I've worked with, was simple. Push harder, it will ease. Work harder, and it will ease. But it didn't. Because the issue is never effort. What had happened was that the phase of the business had shifted and I, as the founder, hadn't. And that gap between where the business was and where I was standing and leading from inside it was creating drag on everything. Not because I was doing anything wrong, but because I was sort of standing in the wrong place for the phase the business had moved into and trying to lead from inside and pushing up. There's a distinction I always use with every founder that I work with. Leading in your business and leading with it. And when you're leading in, everything roots back to you. You're the decision center. Things don't move without your sign-off. Your week is spent being very reactive, this operational detail over this very important strategic work only you can do. Energy is going out, but not coming back. Listen, it's not failure. In the early phases of business, leading in is exactly right. As a founder, you need to be touching, feeling, and understanding everything. That closeness is what drives that growth forward. But as the business grows, as it moves into this new phase, that same position starts to create friction. Because the business needs something different from you now. Leading with looks and feels very different. Decisions are made by the right people, guided by your clear purpose and understanding your values. Your energy goes to the work that only you can do. Growth moves without depending entirely on you. This isn't about stepping back at all. It's about stepping into the right place where the business actually is. The founder who steps back too early leaves this vacuum. And the founder who stays too close too long becomes the ceiling. The question isn't, should I let go? It's, where do I need to stand for this phase for growth to work? And this is the important subject, especially when we're coming into this summer period. Here's what makes it very hard to see, though. The patterns that keep you leading in, don't feel like a trap. They feel like your responsibility. It's what founders love to be needed to touch what they've created. Because you care about getting it right. You stay involved in everything because you know the business better than anyone. You keep fixing things because it's faster if you do than explain to others. And none of those are wrong instincts. But over time, they quietly become the thing that holds growth back. the organisation can't carry responsibility the founder hasn't yet released. Decisions that should sit elsewhere keep rooting upwards, and the business, however capable, begins to move at the speed of the founder's availability, not the speed of the opportunity that is there. And that's the trap. And the first step out of it is simply seeing it clearly. And the summer is a fantastic opportunity to do just that. But we're going to look at 3 questions. So here are the 3 questions to sit and to enable you to be honest about what you're seeing and feeling. Where you actually are today is important. Number 1, where in your businesses are your decisions still rooting back to you that shouldn't be? Not the big strategic ones, that's where the founder needs to be. The operational ones, the ones that should move without you. Number 2, what work are you doing that belongs to an earlier phase of the business? What have you not let go? That work that makes sense when it was just you, but the business has grown past it. And question 3, what would need to be true for you to lead with your business rather than in it? What would need to be clearer? What would need to be trusted? What would need to be built? You don't have to have answers to all 3 of these today, but notice which one creates that most resistance, because that's usually where the shift can begin. And this is a very important thing about growing the business. Growth doesn't get stuck first. Leadership does. When that position shifts, the pressure shifts. When pressure shifts, this energy returns. And when energy returns, growth moves again. So the question isn't whether your business can grow from here. It's whether you're standing in that right place to let it in. Now, if you want to go deeper, especially as moving into the summer, and you might want to be taking that break, the next video takes this further forward. We look at 4 elements that create a lift in growing the business and how to see clearly where the drag is coming from. And if you're ready to start now, you can also look at the free 8-day experience that is a really good place to begin. How can we pass on the things that need to happen to others with confidence, with trust, that things will happen in the way that we know is good for our customer? Because I could count on myself a million times the expression, you need to delegate more. But the challenge is not about delegation. It's about how do you create the culture and the feeling of trust and what really truly needs to happen with your team in order that you can be happy that you're passing these very important operational tasks and others on to your team. I hope to see you on the journey. For now, enjoy some of the other videos. Thank you.